Welcome to the Personal Trainer Hustle. Personal Trainer Hustle. If you didn't know, you do now.
All right, everybody. Today I want to talk to you guys about what I call a lost long art, and that is the long lost art of prospecting. So we're going to talk about this term. A lot of you guys may have already heard prospecting. A lot of you guys may have not heard it or ever done it. Or maybe some of you guys know what prospecting is, but have not actually done it yourself. So prospecting is a term that we use in sales. So almost in any sales environment, we're going to use this term called prospecting. And I feel like when I had just started being a personal trainer, this was more talked about. This was commonplace. This was something that every one of the trainers that I worked with had to go through. All the managers had to go through. And even now, I know that some places still practice this idea of prospecting, but a lot of you guys maybe work at gyms where you're not doing it. A lot of you guys I've noticed have your own personal training, practice, your own personal training brand, right? Where you're doing private personal training, where maybe you meet with people or you go to their homes, or they come to your home gym, however it is that you do it. So a lot of people may not understand what this is and how you could benefit from using it and doing it in order to grow your client base. Okay. So we're going to talk about just what prospecting is, and we're going to go through the who, what, when, where, how of prospecting for those of you guys that are curious, for those of you guys that are looking for something to do to grow your clientele, something that you can do. What can you do to build your client base? What can you do to generate leads? What can you do to close more deals? Well, this is the old school way of doing it, but it may be old school, but it works. Okay. And so we're going to talk about what it is today, some approaches you can take, and just how you can implement it, and obviously some pros and cons, as I always like to cover, because nothing is as easy as it seems, right? So there's always things to consider anytime we are learning a new idea. So what is it, right? When we use the word prospecting, what does that mean? What it means is you are simply personally approaching an individual and offering them your service, right? You are approaching someone and you are offering them or making them aware of what it is that you have for them, right? So that is probably a better definition, right? Making people aware of what you have to offer. Now, the difference here is that when you are advertising or you are marketing, right, we have these bigger general terms. When you are advertising, you are doing it usually through a flyer, or you make maybe a post that has your information. A lot of you guys do that on things like Instagram and Facebook, right? You create a post, right? And you put a picture, you put some text on it, you put it out there to let people know. Sometimes we create videos and we make an ad, right? I do that a lot with my gym now. I create an ad, I edit it, I post it out there, and I get people to come to the website to make an appointment. So that's a form of advertising. Um, Prospecting is a form of advertising, but it requires for you to personally go and talk to someone. Okay, so it's kind of like the approach in dating, right? Somebody has to make the first move. And so somebody has to approach or start a conversation and make that conversation go a certain direction if we are to advance the relationship, to, maybe set a date or go from there, right? I'll leave it up to you guys how you see fit, what you do next. But the idea is that we have to go from not knowing who we are, in this case, not knowing what you do, and now you have to make me aware of what you do. You have to introduce me to your brand, introduce me to your business, introduce me to what you have to offer. Now, that's easier said than done, but in essence, that's prospecting. When I was at Bally Total Fitness, this is what I had to do to get clients, right? No clients were given to me. No, there wasn't a long line of clientele out the door asking, "Oh, I really want to train with Sam, the personal trainer. I heard he's great." It was the opposite. You're new, right? I was the new trainer, and so I had everything against me. The clients knew that I was new. The clients that were there were looking for more advanced trainers, right? So I had it, hard to start, and a lot of you guys have it hard too. That's why we have Personal Trainer Hustle, right? I understand that you guys right now, as you're trying to build your first clients, don't know what to do. It's very difficult, right? You didn't realize that when you were getting certified, you weren't going to learn how to get clients, right? You didn't realize that not everybody has $500, $1,000 every month to invest in their health, right? Very few people are making that investment. We didn't think about that when we were getting certified. I know I didn't. When I got certified, I just thought people signed up, right? I just thought people were looking for personal trainers. I just thought gyms just had a line out the door with people looking to pay top dollar to get personal training. And when I got hired, they said, "Okay, Sam, you can clock in from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. every day this week, and you got to work the floor, meet some people, offer them your training, and make some appointments. Sell some training, dude." And I was taken aback. I had never thought about this part. I didn't even realize I was going to have to talk to strangers and talk to them about training and get them to make an appointment and get them to show up and get them to make a commitment to a personal training package. And that whole process, I didn't know that that was a thing. Just like a lot of you guys, now that you're personal trainers, now that you're trying to start your business or you're starting your career in a gym, you're starting to realize this. A lot of you guys are realizing, shit, it's hard to get clients. It's hard. I don't even know where to start. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Right. I put up a post. I passed out some coupons and some flyers at local businesses. I posted about it on my social media. I've done some stuff, and yet I'm still kind of stuck, right? That's all of us. Okay. I'm making that point to let you know that's exactly where I started as well. I was at the gym. It was my first day. I had no clients. I had no experience. I had no knowledge. All I had was a certification and some awareness of how to be a coach. And now the manager had left me to just go and talk to people with very minimal, if any, training on the matter. What do I say? Right. So the other trainers started to help me a little bit on who to approach, right? That's a good person to approach. I would not approach that person. This is what I would say. I would wait for them to try that machine, right? They started helping me. And then obviously I started reading books and implementing certain ideas, and I got better and better at it. Um, but in essence, that's what a lot of us had to go through in order to get our first clients, right? It was building the ability and the tolerance and the skill to go and talk to a person at the gym. And then the gym is a little bit easier because they're there to work out, right? When you prospect for your own business, it's a little bit harder because you don't have the gym, you don't have the memberships that people are coming in and already interested in training, already open to having a personal trainer. When you have your own business, it can prove a lot harder to do this. But this is for all of you guys to really, learn about and see if you can implement it. But that's prospecting. It's just you're going to get out there and you're going to meet as many people as you can, and you're going to tell as many people as you can what you do, and you're going to offer something to all of these people if they're interested, if they just happen to be interested, right? And most people do this, right? Like people in real estate, they go door to door and they have a target of, 50 doors, 100 doors, whatever it is, and they do it every day and they get rejected from most people. But you know what? From the people I've talked to, inevitably, after knocking on so many doors and telling them that, maybe they have this offer for them to buy this house off of them or to sell the house for them, whatever the offer is, and we're going to get into offers in a little bit, but whatever it is, they're just letting people know, hey, this is what I'm doing in the neighborhood. Hey, this is what I'm doing. And eventually, inevitably, somebody will be interested, right? Now, this is a difficult way to do it because, in a sense, you're just kind of playing this thing we call the numbers game, right? So what you're doing is you're just going to do a lot of work, right? You're just committing to doing a lot of work. And I know that it's hard, you guys, but I'm telling you from experience, I've had to go through it. Okay. I had to get my first few clients. Then I got to promote it to manager. I had to start all over again. I had to prospect with my trainers, teach them how to prospect. This is long term. Okay. But it's better than what you're doing now. It's better than just sitting on your hands and hoping that somebody magically finds you. That is why most trainers inevitably have to quit. Inevitably, you have to quit. Inevitably, you have to shut your business down. Inevitably, you have to go back to a big corporate gym, right? Why? Because we never develop the skills to approach people, to talk to people, to make an offer, to get an appointment, to sell that training. Without that skill, you may be putting a bunch of equipment in a gym, but you're not getting people to be interested, right? And so even if you don't know what you're doing, this is the beauty of prospecting, you guys, that it works even if you don't really know what you're doing. Because, maybe it's going to take you five people to talk to get an appointment. Maybe it's going to take you 15. Maybe it's going to take you 50, right? But regardless of how good you are at making these appointments, if you keep talking to people, inevitably you're going to run into somebody that may be interested in what you have to offer, right? You may approach somebody and they might go, "Oh man, yeah, yeah, I used to have a trainer. I've been looking for a new trainer. I just haven't found the right one." "Oh, perfect. Well, here I am. Why don't we, what are your goals? Blah, 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 blah. Why don't we meet at my gym, or why don't we meet at the park, or why don't we meet at your house and we'll talk more about it? I'll take you through a session. I'll show you what I got." Right. So this is what happens when you're just approaching and approaching and approaching people. Eventually you find somebody who's interested. Okay. So this is why I said this is old school. This is just hard work, right? This is just boots on the ground, doing the work, right? Not waiting for some magical thing to happen for you, but you taking control of the situation and saying, how many people can I go and can I contact? How many people can I talk to today and make them aware that I'm here, that I have this service, that I have something to offer? Right. And it could be with anything, right? Let's say I'm sitting on the couch right now, right? Let's say I had to sell this pillow. I could literally go on the street and go person to person and say, "Hey, sorry to bother you. Good morning. I'm trying to sell this pillow." And I would just say that to as many people as possible and see if I could get somebody that possibly looks at that pillow and goes, "You know what? That pillow matches perfectly with my apartment. How much you want for it?" "Whatever. I want $10. I want $5, right?" "Okay. Sure. Yeah, I'll take it." Boom. Right. And that had there was no marketing, there was no branding, there was nothing special about what I did other than talk to as many people and offer this pillow to as many people as possible, right? So that's prospecting. I'm just getting out there and just trying to make people aware of what I'm doing. So the way that I wrote it here is you want to think about it as you are the advertisement. So think about you having a commercial, right? You have an ad that you're playing, or you have a commercial that plays on TV, except you are acting out this commercial every time you meet someone. So you're taking the commercial to people, right? So you have what you're going to say, and you just walk up to somebody and say, open up and say something like, "Good morning. I'm here at the park. I'm handing out these coupons to my personal training in case you're interested." And boom, that was my pitch. That was my commercial, except I had to do it to a real person, live in person, a person that I approached. They got to see me and hear me say this, and that is what prospecting is, right? It's a commercial, it's an elevator pitch, right? It's whatever it is that you have to offer, but you're doing it over and over again. You're doing the presentation to every single person that you approach. Now, there's different ways to do this, and the last two notes I wrote here on what prospecting is there's two ways you can do this, right? You can go just based off a chance. And what this is you can literally stand in a street corner and just every person that crosses the street, you offer it, right? Now, this is just chance. This is completely unthought out. You have no idea if these people have any interest at all. This is the harder way to do it. And then you can do another thing. You could be a little bit more targeted, right? Now, this is a hard thing to figure out sometimes, right? When you work at a gym, you have to kind of get an idea for like the type of people that gravitate to you as well, right? So maybe it's women in their 50s, maybe it's women in their 20s. Maybe it's men trying to lose weight, or maybe it's men trying to gain muscle, right? You have to start to figure out who are my people, who are my tribe, who are the people that are receptive to me. And when you're a new trainer, when you've never trained anyone, when you've never approached anyone, when you've never closed anyone, you don't really know who your client base is. So when you're out there thinking, should I approach this person or this person? Should I approach this guy or that girl? You're really confused. You don't know. But over time, you should start to become more targeted, meaning that now you kind of know who you feel comfortable talking to and who feels comfortable talking to you. So eventually, now every time you see a thin guy in the gym lifting weights, you know, okay, when I start a conversation with thin guys, they usually gravitate because they have a lot of questions about, putting on mass, protein, carbs, sleep, creatine, right? They have those type of questions, or they need that information. So those are the type of people, when I see one, I'm going to go offer on my training because I know this person needs what I've got and they're more receptive. For other people, it might be middle-aged women, right? I found a niche in that when I worked at a gym. They tend to like working with me. We had great conversations. They usually had the time and the money, and they were open to a young coach helping them out, right? Also, they were more open to just the idea of having a coach. And so once I found that, I realized, okay, every time I see somebody that kind of looks like this, I'm going to go ahead and approach them. They are a better target for me because they are more receptive, usually, to work with someone like me. So whatever that is for you, you're going to have to start figuring it out, right? Um, because at the same time, when you prospect, you also don't want to put yourself in an uncomfortable or dangerous position, right? If you know that you don't feel comfortable approaching, a 250-pound man, right, that's been lifting weights, that played football. If that's someone who you absolutely know you have no connection with, you have very little to offer them, right? Your training has nothing to do with that. Then you probably don't want to start that conversation because obviously you're going to feel out of place talking to somebody who clearly maybe has been working out longer than you've been a trainer, or longer than you've been alive for some of us. So you have to think about this a little bit, right? So, you have to find a place where you feel comfortable approaching people, but at the end of the day, you need to know what you're doing and amplify the amount of output that you're putting in order to give yourself a chance, right? So what is the purpose of prospecting? And I know I've kind of talked about it a little bit, but this is all it is, right? Think about an ad. When you put an ad out, let's say I told you, okay, we're going to create this ad together. We're going to create an advertisement. We're going to promote, right, your gym, your business. We're going to promote you as a personal trainer, and we're going to put it out there, and I'm going to pay for it, right? Whatever. Don't worry about it. But we're going to put an ad out there, and we're going to get people to call you. That is the point, right? What is the point of what you're doing? The point is for them to contact you, for them to make an appointment to try your training. Right now, for some people, they're trying to get them to buy a 10-session pack right off the bat. That's a topic for another day. You really probably don't want to do that, especially when you're new. Beggars can't be choosers. Also, you have so much to learn. You have so far to go and so far to grow to know how to sell a package like that where people trust you enough based on one single ad to make a big purchase. That's unlikely to happen. But what you can do is get people to just visit your website and potentially make an appointment, or even just call for more information, right? But whatever it is, you have to remember, what is my goal when I do this? It's not just to let people know that I'm a trainer, which is a great benefit because they might not call you now, but they might call you later. So again, another benefit of prospecting is that more and more and more people know who you are and what you do. They may not take you up on it now, but they may call you later. They may approach you later. They may look you up later. So it's kind of a win-win in that sense because you're always going to have your name out there, right? Like I said, think of it as you advertising yourself. You are personally going out there and putting on an advertisement, a commercial for people to learn more about you. But here's the thing. Ultimately, you're looking for somebody who shows interest in it, right? You're looking for that person that's going to go, what is it that you do? Oh, that's very interesting. You know what? I've had this issue with my back because I was lifting weights. And, I don't know if I was going too heavy, or do you know anything about that? Do you know why my back may have gotten tied up? Oh, here is a person open to the idea of talking to you, open to the idea of even working with you if you have the right information. This is where the knowledge part of training comes into play. If you're not a good trainer, you're going to struggle with this conversation. But if you're a good trainer, then perfect. They have opened the door for you to have a conversation so you can get into it. How much were you lifting? How long had you been lifting? Can I see your squat? Can I see your overhead press? You know what? This is what I'm noticing. I think you're tight here, or I think these muscles aren't strong enough to support this, or whatever it is. This is what I think I would do. And then here is what I'm trying to get at. When you get that conversation going during a prospecting situation where you just approach somebody and you told them what you did and they showed interest, ultimately what you're trying to do is get them to try your training, right? So never forget that the whole point of, knocking on every door or talking to every person, the whole idea is that you're trying to get them to give you a chance. That's all you're out there doing is, hey, will anyone give me a chance to be their coach? And again, this is a hard approach because the majority of people are going somewhere. The majority of people were not thinking about their fitness right now. The majority of people are thinking about their budget. So the majority of people usually ignore you. They're going to say thanks, but no thanks, or please don't talk to me, right? There's a level of rejection that comes with it. But if you can get through that, eventually there are yeses that you're going to have, right? We call it getting through the no's to get to a yes. So what you have to remember if you're going to try this method of advertising and method of marketing yourself is that yes, most people are going to ignore you, most people are going to say no, but there's always someone who is going to give you a chance, and that's who you're looking for. You're looking for the person that just happens to be open to the idea, just happens to be looking for a trainer, just got back from the doctor, and the doctor said you need to lose weight, right? That happens a lot. And so because you don't know what's going on in the mind of that person, and because you can't ask, hey, are you ready? Will you give me a call? Or, because they're not going to find you, you have to put yourself out in front of enough people that you'll just happen to get lucky. That's what's going to happen. If you give up 20 flyers today, one of those 20 is going to go, I have been struggling with my weight for a long time. One out of those 20 is going to say, my doctor did tell me I have to lose weight. This is the last chance before I get on medication, right? I was looking for a trainer. I just couldn't find the right one. You're going to run into somebody that needs what you have, right? It is not a technical thing that I'm sharing with you guys today. That's why I said it's old school, right? Like most people don't want to go through this, right? We just hope. This is what you guys are thinking. I already know. You're just hoping that you build up enough of a following and you're so popular that people just DM you or message you to train them, right? You just hope that they start calling. And that eventually can work, but in the meantime, that's where a lot of people fall off, right? A lot of people have to quit being a trainer, have to close down their business because between the time of building your brand to a point where people finally want to call you, a long time has passed. Whereas if every day you were handing out 20 coupons, every day you were going to 20 people at the park and telling them what you did, right? You would have sped up the process. You would have made way more people aware in your neighborhood, and you would have gotten some people interested in trying it, right? That's the power of prospecting. But it is difficult because it requires speaking to strangers, and it is difficult because most people are going to reject you. This is why, even though I think everyone understands it when I say this can work for you, most people, the discomfort of being rejected or the discomfort of approaching someone that they don't know, it is so high. It creates so much anxiety. How do I know it creates anxiety? Because I got anxiety every single time I was going to go talk to strangers. I was scared. I would hesitate. I would start working out. I would say, "Oh, I haven't had breakfast yet. Let me go get breakfast." I would find any reason to try to delay this situation because it was very uncomfortable. So I understand that. But on the other end, it taught me how to talk to people. It taught me how to advertise. It taught me what to say. It taught me what questions to ask. It taught me my target audience. It taught me how much work it really takes to get a client. It taught me the value of a client. It taught me that I needed to know what I was saying, right? It taught me a lot of things, and it gave me the confidence to go and grow in my career. It gave me the confidence to be a manager. It gave me the confidence to start a business. It gave me the confidence to start hiring people. Why? Because I knew that as hard as it was, I could always get out there and make it happen for myself. And that's the empowering part of prospecting and of trying it and of developing it and of getting through the hard times and learning how to do it. Even though it's really hard, it's very empowering, right? Because it makes you realize if I want to get a client this week, I can do it because it's up to me how much work I put into it, right? All I got to do is talk to 100 people this week. Let me break it down. Let me divide it into a week. How many is that per week? Boom. Okay, by the end of the week, I'll have someone who's interested in me. I just have to do the work. That's the beauty of it. But it's hard because that means if you have to pass out 100 coupons, or if you have to contact, or if you have to approach 100 people in the gym to get one person to say yes, that's 99 people that say no. And that's the difficulty. Now, I don't know what the numbers are. You may be 1 in 5, 1 in 10, 1 in 20, 1 in 50. That is where the skills come in. How approachable are you? How knowledgeable are you? How well do you know your target and who you're trying to talk to? How great is the offering? And is it clear? And is it something that people are looking for, right? If your offer is bad, then less and less people want that offer. If your offer is great, you're going to find more people want that. If your communication skills are great, you're going to be able to have conversations with people that maybe were on the fence. If your communication skills are poor, then you're going to lose opportunities to talk to certain people because you don't have enough conversational skills to carry it. So again, a lot of this has to do with your skills, right? But inevitably, if you have no skills, you just have to work more, but you'll get the same result. And if you develop great skills, then you won't have to do it as much. And eventually it all translates to other things, right? Because eventually you become a better salesperson. And eventually you get to a place where, like myself now, I can only speak of my truth. I can make a better ad and I can kind of take everything I've learned from talking to people and translate it to an advertisement where it can connect with people. But the only reason I know what to say to people is because I've done it so long that I know what they're thinking. I know what they need. I know what they need to hear. I know what they need to say. And I say that with maybe a little bit of an asterisk, right? I'm still figuring out what exactly they need to see and hear, but I've gotten some little formula down where certain words, certain images, certain concerns have to be addressed for them to be interested. But we can't figure that out unless you talk to a lot of people, unless you meet a lot of people, unless you get rejected by a lot of people, unless you sell a lot of people, until you go through the grind. Only then can you start to develop certain skills, certain awareness, certain abilities that you're going to be able to take and grow your career, right? How do you get the confidence, right? I have trainers at my gym that I'm responsible for getting clients and getting paid, right, for them. The only way you build that confidence up is because you did all the groundwork. You did all the work to build it. And so it doesn't seem like a huge risk. But when you're just starting off, you have no clients and you're jumping into opening up a gym, you're jumping into getting this job where they're supposed to be paying you really well. And you're dealing with these clients that you've never talked to. You're dealing with talking to people that you've never really been around, right? You don't even know if your training is very good. Now you have coworkers, now you have managers, now you have people you're prospecting. It can become a lot because we're not laying the groundwork. So for a lot of us, building the ability to prospect and talk to strangers and let them know what we do and start conversations with them is going to help us develop a lot of skills that carry a lot of weight moving forward, right? So that's the importance of prospecting. That's what prospecting is, right? Some ideas to help you guys. I wrote some things down for you guys. These are just practical things you guys should think about. Number one, having something to offer people is going to help you tremendously. When I started prospecting at the gym, nobody taught me anything and nobody gave me anything to give them. So all I was doing was trying to start conversations with people and just trying to get it to where I could offer them training, offer them a free workout. What I learned later on is that this process is a lot easier if I have an offer that you can't refuse, right? If I have a great offer, then I'm almost obligated to talk to you. So this is, again, now I'm talking just like I'm giving you guys advice and tips to make it easier on you. Okay. When I started, I was just cold approaching people. Just, hey, good morning. Are you having trouble with that machine? I would just try to find anything to talk about. Now that I've done it longer, I realize, man, it's a lot easier if you have something that you're giving people, something that they want. Now, here's the thing. A lot of you guys, the gym teaches you, let's do a body fat monitor scan. Listen, people, they know they're fat. They don't care about that. Okay. I wouldn't want to be measured unless I was already in great shape. But right now, I've been getting back, seriously into the gym. So if somebody at the gym was like, hey, we'll do your body fat scan, I'm like, dude, I'm not fucking checking my fat in front of everybody right now. I know that I'm not in my best shape. If I was in amazing shape, I might be like, sure, man, I want to see just how in shape I am. So I feel like that's not a great way. I'm just making that note because I know a lot of gyms do that, and I think it's a little bit silly. It might work sometimes, but every time I go into the gym that has that body fat scan thing, it's always empty. Nobody's ever using that thing. Because again, we're thinking through the mind of a trainer, not the mind of a customer. The customer isn't there for that. Right? They already know they're uncomfortable. It doesn't matter what the number says. And also, they'll once they make a commitment to a trainer, sure, now I want to monitor it, but I've already made a commitment. So it's not helping me sell the training because it's an add-on to the training, but usually not a sales tactic for the training, right? And so we have to think about this logically. People want something else. So I'm going to leave that as homework to you. What is it that you're offering people that is so good that you have to approach them, right? So if I was giving away 10 one-on-one training, now I'm being extreme, okay? I'm being extreme to make the point. If I had 10 personal training sessions with a food program, with protein, with 50% coupon to a supplement store, with 50% coupon to a healthy nutrition store, if I had this bundle that I had, I would sit there and be like, "Hey, I have a great bundle. Do you want to take this? I'm telling you, it's absolutely free. 10 sessions, 50% off supplements, 50% off the free this, free that. This is what I'm giving away today. Do you want it?" If they said no, I wouldn't care because I can only give this to one person. So I'm looking for somebody who's really serious and wants to take me up. Now, again, somebody might just take it just to take it, but guess what? I at least gave myself an opportunity. And really the point I'm trying to make with this like ridiculous idea of giving away 10 sessions is isn't that something that somebody would want to take advantage of, right? Do I feel weird offering it to people? No, because I know that I'm giving them a lot, right? So again, you have to find that right sweet spot. You don't want to waste your time training 10 people, 10 sessions. By the time you finish those, the month is over and you blanked another month. Now, if you're thinking ahead, that's if you keep this going month after month, then you always have 10 new people every month. So if you think long term, maybe it can help. But the issue here with my example is, and I just want to make sure you guys don't take that as a serious example. The issue is also that you're devaluing your process too much, right? So there's a sweet spot between devaluing your service where you're just giving too much away, and then there's also the stingier side where you're not giving enough for people to take you up on it, right? So if you're just giving, this is what a lot of gyms do, right? We give you one free workout. Well, people know that you're trying to sell me training. They know that it's really just a trial for you to sell me a bigger package. So I don't really want to do that. So again, you can instead talk about what the offer has. What are we giving you during this session? Or you can expand it. We're going to do the first session is an assessment and a workout. The second session is nutrition and blah, blah, blah. And we're going to give both of them to you for free. Okay, now the deal is getting sweetened up a little bit. What else? Your first purchase after those two, if you decide to continue, you get 10% off on your first sessions. Okay, it's a little bit sweeter, right? There's something here. So this is just my advice when I prospect. Now I try to at least always have a coupon, right? It might be 3 free training sessions. It might be 50% off like 5 sessions, like something, or it might have a bundle where you're getting this. And like, again, right, I'm looking for free things that I can give them that don't cost me very much time and money or time or money, right? So depending on where you are with your career, things change, right? Sometimes when you're further along, you actually would rather spend money and not spend your time. But when you're new, you have time, you usually don't have the money to spend, so you're better off giving them free things where you're spending time with them, building a program or suggesting nutrition or taking their measurements, right? You're doing something with your time because if not, then you're going to have to invest money, right? If I wanted to go and put up a table and the first 10 people that try my 5 training sessions, all of them get a free protein, free water bottle. That's a lot of money that I'm going to. And now, if I'm really good and I don't have the time because I'm busy, I might take that approach. I might grab $500 of my own money, buy all this stuff, give it away to 10 people because I'm good enough to know that I'm going to close at least three or four of those people and I'm going to make my money back. But until you know you're that good, you have to be creative. You have to figure out how you can offer something great without putting all your money, right? And it's going to teach you a lot of lessons, right? It's a little bit of bootstrapping. It's going to teach you how to get creative. So you have to have something to offer and you have to have something to say. You guys, this is very important. This is why we struggle so much with these concepts. Practice what you're going to say. What are you going to say? What are you going to say to this person? So practice. Good morning, right? Okay. I used to love prospecting in the morning because the good morning is such a great, happy opener, right? I would rather say that than good afternoon, good evening, right? It's a little weird. We normally don't introduce ourselves or say hi that way, but all of us are used to hearing a good morning from nice people, right? Not everybody says it. Not everybody grew up being educated and giving somebody a good morning. I get that. But I used to love mornings, but you don't have to do that. Sometimes if it's later, I say, "Oh, good afternoon." And then I would open, right? "Good evening. I just wanted a blank," right? So, but you have to have something to say. So for me, what I developed over time is depending on the situation, if I was at the gym, I would look for someone who needed help with the machine. And I had what I was going to say. I would say, "Hey, are you looking for blank, blank, blank?" Right? So I would ask them if they were trying to fix the problem that I assumed. I would wait for confirmation. "Oh, yes, I don't know where the button is." "Oh, it's right here." And then this was part of my pitch. I would say, "So sorry to just bother you like that or interrupt your workout. I'm one of the personal trainers here, and I'm just so trained to notice when somebody needs help here. So the moment I saw you needed help, just kind of off of instinct, I came over here and helped out. So I hope that's not weird. I just wanted to help you with the machine. Like I said, it's just like built into me." And I would laugh and they would laugh. And if they were receptive to my help or whatever, the next part of my pitch was, um, are you working on chest right now on this machine? Yeah. Um, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to build up muscle? Or are you trying to just kind of lean out, like, or are you more on like a weight loss program? Everybody's so different. What are you trying to achieve? And I would just have this little pitch to try to get the conversation going. And and it was so harmless that even someone who was not interested, they might not even realize what I try to do. They might go, "Oh, thanks for the help. Yeah, I'm working chest. I'm trying to get bigger." And they might just say nothing else. And I'll take that as a cue to go, "Okay, this person is not receptive to my conversation." But I was helpful. I was curious. I gave myself an opportunity and then I let them decide. Now, it could have gone different ways. Sometimes they would go, "Yeah, well, I'm not really sure. I mean, I heard I'm supposed to build muscle, but I also heard like I should be doing cardio. I'm actually not even sure. So what do you think since you're a trainer?" Ooh, this is what I was looking for, right? Now this person is receptive to my conversation. Well, for me personally, you have to understand you have to build X amount of muscle because it burns this much, these many calories on a day. I don't know if you ever like figured out how much protein, how many carbs you're having, things like that. They'd give me some information. I'd say, "Oh, that's interesting because if you're not careful, you might be actually working out, but you may be, not getting enough protein, or you might be not getting enough sleep on the other end, and that's really going to affect you. It's going to affect your hormones. It's going to affect your ability to recover. It might even increase your chances of getting injured in the gym. So you have to really be careful." And they might now say something like, "Oh, really? What do you suggest I do?" "Oh, you know what? Right now, um, we could talk about it now, but I have to get back to some of my clients that are coming in. Why don't we do this? Why don't I get your information? Everybody at the gym gets a free one-on-one consultation with a coach. I don't know if you took it already or not. It doesn't even matter. Um, but why don't we set that up? You can come in tomorrow or anytime this week, and let's take 30 minutes to an hour. I'll show you a routine. We'll talk about your nutrition. We'll talk about your sleep. That way you actually know exactly what you should be doing." Okay, great. I get the information, right? So I just walked you guys through exactly how these conversations would go at times. Now, a lot of them were not interested, but I was looking for the one that was because I had something to say. I was practicing. I had an idea of how this conversation was going to go if it went well. That's why I can do it now with you guys, even though it's just a make believe situation. I can do it because I practiced it. I did it. right? Same thing. I'm going to give you guys another example just so you guys can hear what it sounds like when you have something to say, right? I would not only have a coupon. This was when I have my gym myself, this is where I started implementing the coupons. So I would create an offer, I would put it on the coupon. You can only get 3 free sessions if you redeem this coupon by this date, right? So I would build it all up, I would make it, print it, whatever, order it or make them on my printer if I was really broke. And I would go and I would stand at our plaza or I would go to the park, and every person that was going for their walk or every person going, if they were kind of like my type of client, I would go up to them. And now this is where I'm saying have something to say, right? So I'm going to show you guys exactly what I would say. I would say, good morning. So sorry to bother you. I know you're busy, but I just wanted to give you this coupon to our gym. It's right back here in the plaza. If you're ever interested in any information, anything gym related, exercise related, we work with one-on-one individuals. We give them one-on-one plans. I just want to leave this with you. You don't have to use it, but I just wanted to leave this with you, okay? Now that was a long one. Sometimes I would make it shorter, but I would have something to say and something to offer, and I would be ready, right? Good morning. I'm sorry to bother you. I know you're busy. I just want to give you this coupon to our gym. Is that okay? I'm just giving them away. Don't worry about it. I'm just giving them away. Sometimes they would be like, "Oh, no, no, no." I'd be like, "Oh no, they're free. You could just take it." Right? I would be ready to let them know, "Hey, this is absolutely free. I'm just out here giving them away." So I had something to offer. I had something to say. And again, the same thing would happen, right? I don't have to walk you through the whole thing, but sometimes I would give them a coupon and they would say, "Oh, where is this? Oh, interesting. Do you guys work with people that are a little older? I'm a little older. I don't feel comfortable going to the gym. What's the oldest person that you guys work with right now?" Oh my gosh, we work with 60-year-olds, 70-year-olds, sometimes even 80-year-olds. We especially work with older people because there are a lot more concerns. What are some of your concerns? Well, obviously, I'm concerned. I'm going to get hurt. I don't want to lift too heavy. I tried a trainer once. They were a little too hard on me. Absolutely. That happens so much. And that's why we like to work one-on-one with people so that we can have communication, so we can gauge the reality of your situation. When you're older, it takes a little bit longer to recover. The joints can't be put under that much stress in the beginning, right? There's a process to it. And so, yeah, our gym kind of deals with all of those things. What's your routine look like? Are you lifting weights right now? I'm not. I really need help, da 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 da, but I have to go to the store. Why don't we do this? Why don't I get your information? I'll give you my information. You already have the coupon. What we can do is I'll add one more session. This will just be kind of a consultation assessment. And if you like it, you can still use the coupon I just gave you, and you can try 3 more for whatever, 50% off, free, whatever it is that I gave them. And we do that. And then boom, I'm trying to get their information so I can contact them later to make an appointment. I'm just walking you guys through examples of how it goes when your prospecting actually works. Again, 90% of the time, depending on how you're starting, but 90% of the time for most people, they're just going to take it or not take it or just ignore you. Sometimes they would take our coupon and then we would find it in the trash later, right? So you have to really be strong emotionally to deal with like the pain of being ignored and things like that. So that's that's just I want to show you guys an example of the importance of having something to offer and then having something to say. That's going to be very important because I'm just trying to give you advice here. Another note I wrote down here, number 2 is where are you prospecting? This is something that you can think about instead of just going out doing it willy-nilly. You can be a little bit better, right? You can pick a local park that people go to regularly. You can pick maybe a local supplement shop or healthy food location where you can possibly give something to people on the way in and out, or you can even talk to the business if they're okay with that. Maybe you can, you know, ask for permission to set up a table outside or even pay them to let you set up a table, right? There's so many different things you can do. You can even do it at a farmer's market. You can look at local farmers market and just see if you can get into one of the farmers markets. Now, what I will say is a lot of farmers markets, they do require you to have a legitimate business, right? So if you don't have your business registered with the state, or if you don't have a city permit, then they might not let you do it as just an individual. Okay. So there is that with a farmer's market, but it is a great way to put up a banner, have some coupons, have some games, get your name out there, possibly collect phone numbers. Again, I can't give you all the answers here, but you have to get creative with have a game or something or a raffle. We used to do raffles where we would collect people's information, then call them back later and offer them training. So again, you have to be creative, but these are things that you can do. Same thing for those of you guys working at a gym. You can think about the hours. You can think about, like for me, right? I've said this story before, but a trainer named Antonio gave me this advice. He said, prospect when all the other trainers are too lazy to do it, right? And he didn't say it exactly like that, but that's what I took away. So he was saying, like, think of all the clients that come in from 6 to 8 a.m., right? Most trainers are not here at 6 a.m. They're not here at 7, 8, or 9 a.m. So there's a whole gym full of people that have never been introduced to a trainer because there's no trainers here because the trainers don't want to come in that early. So you can beat the competition that way. He also said Saturday and Sunday, the trainers take the weekends off. If you come in and prospect on the weekends, you're going to talk to people without the pressure of the other trainers walking around or competing for the same conversations, right? So you could do that. You can pick certain machines. This is something that I did at the gym. Once I realized there were certain machines that a lot of people struggle with, I always kept an eye on those machines. So again, this is just where you got to think about where you're doing it. Are you doing it on that machine? Are you doing it at this time of day? Are you doing it at the park? Are you doing it at farmer's market? Right? You can think about where and get creative based on your business, based on your targets, based on your budget, based on your abilities. You can start thinking of where would be a best idea to do your prospecting, right? I doubt you're going to go door to door. That'd be way too dangerous and crazy to just go door to door and just knock on people and say, "Hey, I'm your local trainer. I'm just going door to door offering," like that's a way you might get hurt. So don't do that. It would be my advice. But again, farmers markets, parks, in the gym, certain machines, certain times of day, certain days of the week, all of those things are things you can consider. Um, Very important as we kind of wrap this up is why this is important. The best thing about prospecting is that it gives you back control, you guys. You can put in as many hours as you want, right? You can really, make a schedule that is a hardworking schedule, right? Instead of, again, it gets rid of the sitting around and hoping for things to happen. If you can overcome the negative feelings around it, the confusion around it, the hard work around it, the beautiful thing about it is you can say, "Hey, I am going to go to the park and promote my gym for 12 hours today." Right? It takes grit, you guys, but this is why it's not for everybody. This is something that we all have to understand and accept. It takes grit to have certain things in life. It takes hard work, dedication, and belief. It takes overcoming a lot of obstacles. And so prospecting is one of those obstacles that is very hard to overcome. That's why most of you guys are never going to try it or do it because it's a very hard thing to do. It requires me to get my little coupons, get a little table, and go out there and hope for the best. And I'm going to be embarrassed and I'm going to be shy and I'm going to be anxious and it's going to be weird and I'm going to get rejected. And so it's better not to do it, right? But for those of us that can overcome that discomfort, that pain, that difficulty, that's who this is for. Those of us that can persevere through this, it allows us to have more control. That's the last point I'm trying to make here is you can make a schedule where you're not limited by certain hours, right? Maybe they tell you, well, your schedule's 6 hours. Yeah, I know, but what if I wanted to prospect another six? Is that okay? I'll do it off the clock. Or if you're self-employed, right? I'm gonna go to the park this morning, 6, 7 a.m. and just see who's out there jogging, working out, stretching, and just give them some coupons. Let's see what happens. Just start meeting people. Put my banner out there and introduce myself to as many people as possible, right? Just some way to let people know that I'm here and I'm taking control, right? Now you can do more hours. You can also put in more days, right? You don't have to take the weekend off, and you probably shouldn't when you start. I know everybody's situation is different. Some people have families, you have to give people time. I understand that, but I'm just telling you what I did, right? In the beginning, when I had nothing, I gave 7 days a week, 365, 12 hours, 14 hours, 16 hours every day trying my best. Now I wasn't passing out the coupons all the time, but I would come back, work, get some food, work out, go back, right? But it 12 hours later, I'd be like, okay, I gave it everything I got. I got two phone numbers today. I can go home. Tomorrow I got one. The next day I might got zero. The next day maybe I have two again. The final day maybe I get three. But by the end of the week, I'm trying so hard. I have 7, 8 phone numbers to call back or 3 appointments. That's moving my business forward. A lot more people know about me. I get more practice. I've made some money eventually, right? Because at least I got somebody to sign up. And now I have more posts. I have the chance to have a before and after. I have a chance to have a testimonial, right? I gave myself a fighting chance because I decided to take control over the situation. Last thing I'll say is, you guys, this is just an old school way that people do it, right? I know now you guys, a lot of you guys are great online, great at building brands. I personally don't care too much about that. I just like to live my life in private, have fun, enjoy the people in my life, enjoy my business, enjoy projects, right? Like that's where I get my kicks. I don't get my thrills from likes and follows and all that shit, but I know a lot of you guys are great at it. And I'm not saying this is the end all be all. I always want to be clear that all of these things are just extra information for you to consider, right? Some of you guys are going to hear today's message and go, you know what? Fuck it, man. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to start meeting people. Other of you guys are going to go, you know what? No, I'm just going to try to get my 1,000, 10,000, 20,000, million followers, and I'll do it that way. All right. It's just information I'm sharing for those of you guys that maybe want to take it. For those of you guys that don't, maybe you can message me, or maybe one day I'll interview you and say, hey, how did you do it? And you'll have a different way of doing it. At the end of the day, I'm just trying to give you guys tools, you guys, to help you get closer to the thing that you want, right? So some of you guys need to hear this and do this. Um, and for those of you guys that it is, I hope that it changes your path and your career. Hopefully, this will make a big difference. It'll empower you to take charge of what you're doing, instead of just hoping that things happen for you. All right. So just information. This is how I did it. If I'm being honest, we don't really do it anymore. I haven't prospected in a few years now, right? And Sean, the manager, he too does not. So there's different levels to it. There's different methods to it. Okay, but I'm just telling you the truth. When I was new, I had to prospect at the gym. It was the only way to build my client base. And when I opened up my gym, we had to prospect in the plaza. We had no other choice, right? At least that's what it was like at the time. Now I have more skills, I have more funds, I have more, staff, I have more reputation. It changes things a little bit. But if I wanted to, I could still get out there and make people aware of my brand, in person. I still could do it. That's something that doesn't have to go away if I don't want it to. Okay. So it's a classic, old school, super basic, just based on hard work approach to trying to get some customers and some clients for your personal training business. All right. Thank you guys for listening. Got to head out. So, for those of you guys that maybe this is your first episode, we have Q&As, so you guys can go to personaltrainerhustle.com. I will tag it in the episode in the description. You guys can go personaltrainerhustle.com. There's a little form there. It's just for you guys to send questions, okay? There's nothing to buy. There's nothing you're signing up for. You guys just send in questions. You guys can go back to older episodes. We do a lot of Q&A episodes, and that's just you guys send in a question, and I just create an episode to try to answer that question to the best of my abilities. I've been a personal trainer for over a decade. I've owned my business for about a decade now. We're coming up on 10 years next year. And that's my experience that I'm trying to share with you guys. So feel free to ask a question. I'm sure I've gone through it. I'm sure I've dealt with it in all this time that I've been in the business. So go to personaltrainerhustle.com, send in your question. We'll turn it into an episode. And of course, you guys are welcome to follow me. It'll also be tagged in the episode on Instagram, Personal Trainer Hustle. That is me. So you guys are welcome to go on there, hit a follow, send me a DM. I'm pretty active on the responses. So if you guys send me a DM, as of now, I try to get on there and try to get back to people. And sometimes I get questions. Sometimes I put questions out there for you guys to answer. And sometimes, we can work with that as well. So this is all for you guys, personal trainers, trying to build your business, build your career, get clients, all that good stuff. That's what Personal Trainer Hustle is about. So personaltrainerhustle.com, you can send your questions or just hit me up on Instagram at Personal Trainer Hustle. All right. Talk to you guys soon.